This news update is brought to you by...
This is how we flow. Oh, the offers are quite exciting, and the prices will leave you smiling. Everybody's got a cheerful glow.
Get 2 months of free movies and more when you sign up for Flow TV this Christmas.
This is the Barbados Today afternoon update for Friday, December 11th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. The outcome of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines election will have no impact on Barbados' election in 2018. But political scientist Peter Wickham says the Vincentian poll clearly shows that leadership is a key factor for the electorate, and issue political parties in Bridgetown should pay serious attention to.
The thing about Barbados is the election is so far away. The election in Barbados is not until 2018, and we still have a considerable amount of ground that needs to be covered. What I would say is that if you look at the significance of leadership, it says to me that leadership has a huge part to play in terms of a second term, third term, or fourth term, and also the popularity of leaders in terms of whether or not people will or won't vote for them. I'm inclined to think that it was leadership that saved Dr. Gonzalez from political obliteration. The fact that he was so much more popular than the other candidate, Mr. Arne Eustace. In the case of Barbados, one would argue that leadership was also what seemed to have saved Prime Minister Fendo Stewart, and the extent to which people may have been hesitant about re-electing or after under circumstances that presented themselves in the last election in 2013. So I guess the lesson for Barbados is really the role of leadership and popular leadership, and the extent to which that can be an asset or a liability depending on how one looks at it.
Meantime, he described the refusal of the new Democratic Party leader, Arne Eustace, to concede the defeat as a low point in Caribbean politics.
He literally called out his supporters yesterday to protest and barricade Government House. I thought that was a low point in Caribbean political discourse, where the opposition is actually putting his supporters in the line of fire, so to speak. And of course, people compare what he did with what Dr. Gonzalez did in 1998 when he came to power. But I tend to think the popular protests in 1998 were different, because there was a popular vote in Gonzalez's favor. On this occasion, there's no popular vote in the Eustace's favor. He appreciates and understands that, but yet still he has decided that he's won the election, and on that basis he needs to protest. The scene yesterday was an unfortunate one. I'm happy that it has not persisted today, but nonetheless it speaks to me to a low point in Caribbean political discourse, where an opposition leader is willing to risk all, quite frankly, and one is not surprised, because he has nothing to lose at this stage.
The National Council of the Barbados Labour Party is confident that it will win the court case brought against it by former member Dr. Maria Agard. The council, led by political leader Mia Motley, met with the party's legal counsel Leslie Haynes QC and Roger Ford QC at headquarters last night. Barbados Today was reliably informed that both attorneys felt that the case, which challenges the expulsion of the Christchurch West MP, had no merit, and believed that the chances of success in the court was great. Meantime, there is news that Dr. William Dugade can make a comeback to active politics. Emmanuel Josephs tells us more.
It's all about politics. Now, having extracted dentist Dr. Maria Agard from the party, the opposition Barbados Labour Party could insert Dr. William Dugade as its candidate in the Christchurch West riding. Dr. Dugade, also a dentist, quit active politics in 2013 after representing the constituency from 2003, paving the way for Dr. Agard to represent the BLP stronghold. However, the continuing row between the sitting Member of Parliament and the party has led to calls by constituents for Dr. Dugade's return, and the former MP appears interested. However, Dr. Dugade told Barbados Today he must first consult with his family before making any final decision.
An increasing number of babies born at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital are being put up for adoption. That's according to Head of Pediatrics at QEH, Dr. Clyde Cave, who was unable to give precise numbers, but says there has been a rise in the practice. Dr. Cave revealed that parents made the decisions for various reasons, including their inability to provide for the child.
That there are more
babies being put up for adoption than we have had before. Which you could look at as a good thing if parents are realizing it's better to put up for adoption than maltreat a child, but it's obviously sad whenever there's a child who is born and his parents aren't able to look after. I would imagine in most circumstances this is the most difficult thing that a mother could do. But, there may be extraordinary circumstances. Sometimes the pregnancy may have been forced on the mother, and sometimes there's just the acknowledgement that they are unable to do the best for the child. And I think that's the greatest gift, to acknowledge that somebody else may be able to be best providers for your child. I don't really have figures. It used to be one every 2 or 3 months. Now it's a bit more frequent than that.
Meantime, Barbados continues to surpass its Caribbean neighbors in addressing the issue of teenage pregnancy. However, officials say there is still more to be done. Executive Director of the Barbados Family Planning Association, Juliet Bino-Sutherland, said when compared to other countries, the percentage of teenage pregnancy in Barbados was relatively low.
In Barbados, we are known for having low birth rates. So in terms of numbers, we do not have, comparative to other countries, a large percentage of teenage pregnancies. But I always say, in small societies like ours, it is not important to look at the numbers. So Barbados has a low number of teenage mothers compared, let's say, to Trinidad and Guyana. For each teenage mother, for each young person who has a pregnancy, an unplanned pregnancy before the time, for that person, there's an individual consequence. There's usually, sometimes it's cyclical from one generation to the next generation, and that person or that family is struggling to get out of poverty. So as Chantel said, it's important to recognize that though we may not have the scale of some of the other Caribbean territories, for our societal context, having the numbers that we do really has a tremendous social consequence.
In sports, Barbados boys booked their spot in the semi-finals of the 10th Caribbean Junior Volleyball Championship, and all without the help of the captain. Andre Stapleton had to sit out the match against Martinique at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium last night to rest a sore shoulder, but that did not stop his side from ousting the French side in straight sets, 25-19, 25-13, and 26-24. Now the girls, they take on their French counterparts tonight at 8 p.m. after securing their first win against Trinidad and Tobago last night. They beat the Trinis 25-19, 17-25, 25-21, and 25-20.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
'Twas days before Christmas. I had so much to do. Shopping, more shopping, and I was feeling blue. There's a mother, father, a wifey, and friend. Lots of things to buy, but there was no money to spend. I found the answer. The BT shopping spree. 15,000 in goodies. Free, free, free. It's easy to enter. Nothing hard to do. Follow my instructions and a winner can be you. Visit facebook.com/Barbados today. Do it quickly and fill out your form to enter this spree. Look, I'm shopping at the Costly Less Mega Store. Come down, fill your trolleys with goodies and more. And like me, you too can say, ho, ho, ho.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To news from the region, St. Lucia's opposition United Workers' Party says it kept a close eye on elections in neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And political leader Alan Chasney, in an interview with HTS News Force, says his party will ensure that it does not make the mistakes of the new Democratic Party.
I think that the opposition party in St. Vincent failed in being able to convince enough people of what the issues are, and maybe even failed to convince them that they have a plan moving forward. So again, there are some very important lessons for us to be able to learn in terms of moving forward. And you know, the selection of our candidates, the policies that we're going to have, how we represent ourselves, and the work that we're doing in terms of preparing our constituency branches are all critical in being able to win an election. So it's not about just a popularity competition, but it's about really delivering to the people. I think that the people, not only in St. Lucia, the citizens of St. Lucia, but citizens throughout this region, have been very despondent about politicians.
And finally, President Vladimir Putin orders the Russian military to take extremely tough action against any threat to its forces in Syria. He told Defense Force officials that any targets must be immediately destroyed, but he did not elaborate on any specific threat. Turkey and Russia are currently locked in a dispute over the downing of a Russian jet by Ankara. Turkey said the bomber had entered its airspace, something Russia has denied. And that's our afternoon update, but there's more on our website at www.barbadoscity.tv. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also, tune in to Channel 101 on Flow TV and the Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good afternoon.